everybody. Welcome to another episode of Betting Insights. I'm Timothy, of course, alongside Sergio. Sergio, welcome.
Hey everybody. Hey Tim. What's up?
Yes, welcome back. As you know, we are giving out picks for 5 different club competitions across Europe: Serie A, La Liga, Eredivisie, Premier League, and the Bundesliga. Now, these are our weekly picks, and we will be doing this for the rest of the season. So, Sergio, let's not waste any time. Let's get started. Today we are starting with the Bundesliga, and the first game on the schedule is Bochum hosting Freiburg. Bochum wins set at 2.9, Freiburg wins set at 2.5. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, high odds for both teams. Freiburg not in great form. They have lost 3 straight games. Only 2 goals scored over that stretch. But they do have success against Bochum. They have won 6 straight against Bochum. Now, Bochum had a bit of a good run, but lost to Gladbach 3-0 last week. So, which way are you going here?
Yeah, 2 wins out of 6 for Freiburg. Lucky enough, they're still number 10 in the league. Bochum number 18. So we'll say that Freiburg still has of course still has the better team. But 3 losses in a row, yeah, that's a lot. So against Bochum, it's a shame that it's an away game. But I think it's a must win for Freiburg now.
Yeah, it's a must win. I'm not sure they will win because now they've lost 3 straight games, but were 3 straight games against good to very good opponents, and maybe even great in Bayern. Frankfurt, Stuttgart, and Bayern Munich. So, very good opponents, but the thing that concerns me is how they got outplayed in those games. Like against Stuttgart, they lost 4-0, didn't even have a shot on goal. So, that's a bit of a concern. But of course, Bochum worst team in the league, so a good spot for them to bounce back. I would still play it safe and take the double chance. Like you said, they're on the road, so not a great spot, but they should get at least a point here. So I'm playing the double chance. What are you playing? You're playing Freiburg straight up?
No, no, I don't. I was maybe thinking about the over 2.5. No, Freiburg win. Like I said, they're playing away. It's a must win. No, and must wins are sometimes the most dangerous games also. So I would just go for the over 2.5, playing it safe.
All right, I'm taking Freiburg for a double chance. I really can't see Bochum winning this game. All right. Next up, St. Pauli hosting Augsburg. St. Pauli wins set at 2.38. Augsburg wins set at 3.3. Linefield Total goals set at 2.5. Now, both teams kind of on a good streak. St. Pauli back-to-back wins. Augsburg 3 straight wins. Now, St. Pauli, they've scored 5 goals over the last 2 games. Still, they're only on 17 goals in 19 games this season. So, goals tough for them. They also don't allow too many goals, 21 in 19 games. So I think this will be a very low scoring game. I'm looking at the under 2.5 goals, especially St. Pauli playing at home. They will defend. What are you doing?
On the 3.5 goals, I agree. I'm even counting on the St. Pauli win here. They're playing at home. I think they would like a 3 win streak, like just like Augsburg also. They both won 3 out of 6. Um, the last 6 games. So I would go for Pauli, but just because they're playing at home.
Yeah, not a bad spot backing the home team here. All right. Next up, Heidenheim hosting Dortmund. Heidenheim wins set at 4.35. Dortmund wins set at 1.8. Line for total goal set at 3.5. Now, as soon as I saw this line, I attacked it. Dortmund 1.8. The value is just too great. Now, of course, Dortmund a bit in flux, switch coaches, but against Werder Bremen, they played the majority of the game with 10 men, received a red card within 21 minutes, still were able to sneak out a draw, 2-2 draw. And of course, they beat Shakhtar 3-1 in midweek. While Heidenheim, they've won one game in the last 10, 11. This man, that was against Union, and we all know what kind of a bad shape Union is. And even Union received a red card in that game. I don't see Heidenheim picking up points here against Dortmund, so I lock Dortmund in as one of my favorite bets. What are you doing?
No, Dortmund in very, very bad shape at the moment. I think playing um, two games in a space of what, 4 days, something like that. It's yeah, and Dortmund, they don't even have double the points of Heidenheim, but what for Dortmund standards should be a normal situation at this stage of the season, and that's not the case. And mm, I would uh, I would still go for a double chance, or maybe just go for the goals, because uh, I'm not uh, I'm not so sure Dortmund is gonna win this game.
Yeah, listen, man, Dortmund, bad shape. I know that's why they switched coaches, but as bad of a shape they're in, Heidenheim is in worse shape. And talking about double the points, okay, Heidenheim 14 points, Dortmund 26, so almost double.
Yeah,
Still
almost.
Yeah, almost. Still below Dortmund standards. I will give you that. But like I said, Heidenheim is in much, much worse shape. This man, they're not picking up points here, not against Dortmund. Dortmund still has the talent advantage. They should come away with the 3 points here. I really like Dortmund this weekend.
I hope so.
All right. Next up, Stuttgart hosting Gladbach. Stuttgart wins set at 1.61. Gladbach wins set at 5.25. Line for total goal set at 3.5. Or back-to-back losses for Stuttgart. Um, yeah, in the Bundesliga on the road, and then lost to PSG at home. So tough turnaround here. While Gladbach, they brushed aside Bochum, but of course that's Bochum, so who really cares? Gladbach hasn't been great on the road this season. Win against Hoffenheim. It's about the only road win they've had this season. Sorry, they also have a road win against Bochum that came in round two. So two road wins this season, but against pretty bad teams. We all know how Bochum's just last in the league, and you just know how kind of a bad shape Hoffenheim is at the moment. Stuttgart, different story. So I like Stuttgart at home. What are you doing?
Yeah, Stuttgart at home. This one I agree. Yeah, they're playing at home. They play midweek, also, but losing against PSG, yeah, I think it was a deserving loss, to say so. But at home, against Gladbach now, I think this should be a game that would set things straight.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Next up, Bayern Munich hosting Holstein Kiel. I'm not sure we should talk about this game. Holstein Kiel winning is set at 46. Obviously, I'm not doing anything here. Bayern win sitting at 1.04, total goals 4.5. So, obviously, low value taking Bayern. That's an understatement. And I'm not sure I want to touch the over 4.5 goals here. What are you doing?
But they did play midweek, Bayern.
Yeah, they did.
No, but still, no, I would not a game to say a lot about. Maybe just the amount of goals Bayern will score, but no, the goal set at over 4.5. So no, we'll just skip this one.
All right. Next up, Union hosting Leipzig. Union wins set at 3.15. Leipzig wins set at 2.3. Line for zero goals set at 2.5. Now, this is another game where I'm not expecting too many goals, so I'm looking more towards the under 2.5 goals. Union, they've scored 16 goals in 19 games. Being at home now, they will defend. Now they have won one out of the last 5 games, and in three out of those games they haven't even scored. Leipzig coming off a defeat against Sturm Graz on the road, so tough turnaround here. Not sure how many they have left in the tank to really score maybe two or three times here. Not sure. So I'm taking the under 2.5. It's a lean towards Leipzig. What are you doing?
Speaking of teams in bad shape, Leipzig is definitely one of them. Union, yeah, one win in the last six. So I would normally look at Leipzig, but um, double chance. Same like uh, Same like the game against was it? I think it was
Wagen Freiburg.
Dortmund or so. But
Oh, Heidenheim Dortmund.
yeah, yeah. No, I would just go for the double chance. I have the same feeling about Leipzig also. Yeah, that team's in bad shape.
Yeah, they're not in great form at the moment. I would agree there. All right, next up, Frankfurt hosting Wolfsburg. Frankfurt wins set at 1.96. Wolfsburg wins set at 3.9. Line for the total goal set at 2.5. Now, this is for me a really easy over 2.5 goals. Frankfurt, they scored 44 goals. Wolfsburg has scored 42. Frankfurt being at home, they should score goals here. They usually do when they're playing at home. They haven't been shut out at home yet this season, while Wolfsburg on the road also a very good team. All right, so they've lost 3 games on the road, and in those 3 games, they've scored at least twice every time. So even when they lose, they do score. So I'm looking at the over 2.5, kind of really easy pick for me. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's a lean against Frankfurt. They did play midweek, losing against Roma. It was an away game also. So this weekend, I think it won't be the easiest weekend for them because Wolfsburg, it's a team in the top 10. And yeah, they're playing at home, Frankfurt. So that's a little advantage, but it will be difficult. So playing it safe, I would go for the double chance, but still, Frankfurt, I think they'll win this game.
All right. Like I said, I expect goals. Both teams can really score, so um, over 2.5. I really like that one. All right, next up, Leverkusen hosting Hoffenheim. Leverkusen wins set at 1.25. Hoffenheim wins set at 11. Line for total goal set at 3.5. Now, obviously, low value taking Leverkusen here. They're playing at home. They should win. Kind of already touched on it. Half Hoffenheim is just really trash. I like the over 3.5 goals here. I usually don't like going over when the number is 3.5 or more, but this should go over 3.5. Hoffenheim's defense is just absolutely trash. Even shipped 3 goals against Anderlecht on Thursday. They were on the road. Now they go on the road against Leverkusen. Leverkusen can easily score 3, 4 times in this game. So over 3.5. What are you doing?
Yeah, over 3.5 seems fair for this game. Like you said, not much value backing Leverkusen, but must be said, Hoffenheim played a good game against Anderlecht.
Yeah,
So
but they almost blew their lead.
yes, 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 they did, but at least they scored more than Anderlecht. So yeah, no, I would still go for the Leverkusen win, of course, but not much value. So over 3.5. I agree.
All right, that wraps up the Bundesliga. Let's get to the Eredivisie. First game, PEC hosting Utrecht. PEC wins set at 3.3. Utrecht wins set at 2.32. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, back-to-back wins for PEC. 7 goals scored, so very impressive. While Utrecht back-to-back draws, only 1 goal scored. Now, obviously, Utrecht's the better team here. I'm not sure, really sure I like Utrecht here, but they're still undefeated on the road, so that also says something. Lean towards Utrecht right now. What are you doing?
Yeah, Utrecht actually against Heracles, it was a Friday game, if I remember correctly. So I
Yeah,
think,
it was a Friday game.
yeah, that's one of the reasons I think. But Paxwell, on the other hand, 2 games in a row where people expect them to lose and they win. And the one against PSV was very impressive, but away against Fortuna, that actually and That kind of blew my mind. Now playing against Utrecht, it would be three in a row. I can assure you that. Fortuna had a really off day, just like PSV, and I think advantage of that. And so go for a Utrecht win now. Swallow winning against Utrecht also. No, it was good to watch.
Yeah, and Utrecht, they've won three straight games against PEC. All three were at home. So the last time they won at Swallow was, let's see, back in 2015. So that was a while ago. Like I said, I'm leaning towards Utrecht here. Not convinced they will win this game. All right. Next up, Heerenveen hosting Fortuna. Heerenveen wins set at 1.96. Fortuna wins set at 4.1. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Heerenveen, obviously at home, a very good team. Only one loss against Ajax so far, but right now they're sitting on three straight losses. Now, the loss against Ajax at home sprinkled there in between, loss against Groningen and Quick Boys on the road. But now they return home where they have been comfortable hosting a Fortuna team that's not in good shape. Like we said, lost 4-1 against Spec. So, um, guess you gotta go for the home team here. What are you doing?
Sure. They didn't start the year very good. That's obvious, but Fortuna is I think one of the not I think it is like teams in the out. So losing three games against as well against NEC. I think New Year they have maybe other plans, but I would still go for a Fortuna win here. Heerenveen is really at the moment, especially the loss against Quick Boys was terrible. So Groningen, they had a few chances to score, but yeah, it just doesn't seem like Heerenveen has the power to even perform well in big games. And this game against Fortuna is going to be a big one for them.
Well, then I would rather look at the over 2.5, because Heerenveen playing at home, I think they will score. I don't think Fortuna has the horses to shut out Heerenveen on the road. So if you're expecting a win for Fortuna, I think the over 2.5 is the safer play here. I have a lean towards Heerenveen because they have been good at home. Even how awful they've looked on the road at times, they turn around, come home, and have an impressive game. So that's why I like them at home, but I don't love them. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, but it's Fortuna losing four in a row. That's going to be a tough one. So yeah, I would just go for Fortuna here actually.
Yeah, but like I said, Heerenveen, they've lost 3-0 against NEC on the road. Come around, come home, win 2-0 against Sparta. Lost 3-0 against Fortuna on the road. Come home, win against Go Ahead Eagles. So no matter how bad they've performed on the road at times, they seem to, let's see, fix things when they come at home. So that's why I like them. But if you're expecting Fortuna to win, I would rather take the over 2.5 because I don't see Fortuna shutting out Heerenveen on the road. All right. Next up, NEC hosting PSV. NEC wins set at 6.75. PSV wins set at 1.48. Line for total goals set at 3.5. Now, 1.48, I think it's good value for PSV here. Three straight wins. kind of shook off the loss against Spec. And they right now they really have Ajax breathing down their neck. So 4 points in a clear from Ajax, but Ajax has a game in hand. So if Ajax were to win that, it's only 1 point. They really can't afford to drop points here. I think 1.48 is actually good value given the situation PSV's in. So I'm picking PSV for a win here. What are you doing?
Yeah, and I would maybe, spice it up a little bit and just go for both teams to score PSV win. PSV, they seem to concede a goal uh, almost every match. I think the last 4 or 5 games in the Eredivisie. So NEC playing at home, and even the NEC scores first. That's something to look at also. But I'll just go for the both teams to score PSV win.
Yeah, that's not a bad look. The last, and especially on the road, the last 5 games on the road, PSV they have received a goal. So not a bad look. PSV wins, both teams to score. Good, good ad. All right. Next up, Almere City hosting RKC. Almere City wins set at 2.28. RKC wins set at 3.25. Line for the goal set at 2.5. Now, I'm not doing anything in this game. The bottom two teams in the league playing. It should be an ugly game, so I'm staying away from it. What are you doing?
It will be an ugly game. That I agree. But I would still go for the RKC win. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The win was on the way for I think maybe 5 games already. They were playing constantly. They were playing a little bit better, and against Willem too, it showed. Um, Almere City is even worse. So I would just go for the RKC. I think RKC improved their game, and I think they're now clearly better than Almere City.
I would agree. I'm still not playing this game, but I would agree with everything you said. And for the reason RKC, they've scored more than double the goals Almere City. And if you look at the defense, not that big of a difference. Almere City 39 goals allowed, RKC 44. So not a huge gap in defense, but in offense, RKC can at least score goals. And it's very great value, 3.25. So kind of a high risk, high reward, especially in RKC being on the road. So great value there. I guess you can, I guess you can sprinkle something on RKC. All right. Next up, Ajax hosting Feyenoord. Ajax wins set at 2.33. Feyenoord wins set at 3.25. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Ajax, I think Ajax will win this game. But one thing I really like in this game is Ajax over 1.5 goals. It's sitting at 1.91. So Ajax at home, we know they score goals. Feyenoord on the road, well, if you don't score goals, they'll help you like they did against Lille. So what are you doing?
Yeah, yeah. Usually this game before 2024, it was usually ending in 1-1. But I think last year when Ajax was struggling a lot, and the season before, Feyenoord took advantage of that. Um, but I see now that these two teams, they're almost level, on performance. Honestly, I think it will be a draw. Um, Both teams have really nothing on losing this one. So Ajax definitely doesn't want to lose because they won't let or they don't want PSG to get out of sight. So I think they will draw this one.
Yeah, and Feyenoord, they've won back-to-back games at Ajax. The last 2 games they've won it at Ajax. But Ajax was in really, really bad shape at that time because if you look at the history before the two games they lost and against Feyenoord at home, yeah, listen, man, at home you have to go back to 2005 when Feyenoord beat Ajax at Ajax. So that's not gonna happen. Not three straight times. Um, a draw, I guess, but at least Ajax will score. So I'm taking Ajax over 1.5 goals. That's the play I like in this game.
I'm going for a 1-1 draw.
All right. That's actually going against my 1.5 goals, but not.
Yes.
All right. Go ahead, Eagles hosting Twente. Go ahead, Eagles win set at 2.63. Twente win set at 2.6. So almost a pick 'em line for Zorgo goals set at 2.5. Now, I like the over 2.5 goals here. I also like Go ahead, Eagles to win. I think there's some great value here. We've seen Twente on the road a couple of times and it does not look good. These teams already played in the cup a couple of weeks ago. Go ahead, Eagles won 3-1. I'm not sure we'll see the same result, 3-1, but I could see a 2-1 win. I could see a 1-0 win for Go Ahead Eagles. I'd rather think a 2-1 win, so that's why I'm looking at the over 2.5 goals. What are you doing?
Go ahead, Eagles. Well rested, to say the least. Twente played during the week against Besiktas. I think it was an intensive game for them. Now away, go ahead, Eagles. One of the not one of the easiest teams in the top 10. Just 3 points separates these two. So yeah, I would still go for a go ahead win. Yes, I believe it's a game that's gonna be very important for them because if they win, they can go in with the sixth spot. They can and level on points with Twente. So yeah, why
Yeah,
not?
they're 3 points behind Asset, but also a game in hand, so they can get leveled on points and with Asset if they were to win their game, and also of course this one, assuming Asset also wins this weekend. And like you said, they're in the top 10. That's very notable because Twente on the road, they haven't beaten top 10 teams on the road. So go ahead, Eagles firmly in the top 10. Also a very good home team. So I really like go ahead, Eagles here. All right. Next up, Sparta hosting Groningen. Sparta wins set at 1.78. Groningen wins set at 5.3. The line for total goals set at 2.5. Now Sparta, well, they finally won last week. A bit of an upset against AZ. Groningen also won 1-0 against Heerenveen in the derby. So both teams fresh off a win here. Which way are you going?
Yeah, the win against AZ for Sparta was a crazy, crazy game. Two game or two goals in extra time. Also, yeah, it was a crazy game, but I don't think they'll repeat that. Sparta has a problem, and Groningen um, uh, also winning against Heerenveen. I think that was just because it was the derby. They were extra motivated. Um, I would still go. Maybe think that this one will be a draw again. Yeah, I don't see a clear winner here.
Yeah, and that's why I actually don't agree with the line here. It's like an
Yeah,
Groningen
it's odds.
5.3, Ajax, Sparta 1.78. That should assume that Sparta is way better than Groningen, which I don't have any reason to believe they are. So if you look at a handicap, put Groningen plus 1.25. Well, that should just means they shouldn't lose with more than one goal, a one goal difference. That's great value here, given the odds are like 5.3. So if you take Groningen plus 1.25, you still get some good value. And even if Sparta were to win, they're at home. They possibly can. I don't think they will, but they can. You can still cash with Groningen plus 1.25. All right. Next up, Willem 2 hosting Asset. Willem 2 wins set at 5.1. Asset wins set at 1.74. A line for Torgos set at 2.5. Now, kind of already touched on both teams. Willem 2 losing against RKC. Um, Not great. So, but that's good for Asset, and that's good for my bet because I like Asset in this game. Asset losing to Sparta, then also losing Thursday in the Europa League, but they don't really had anything to play for and didn't feel their strongest 11 from the start. They were down big, made some subs, uh, kind of made it a game at the end, but doesn't really matter. This game does matter. I like Asad here. What are you doing?
Yeah, I like Azet also, but I would rather go for the over 2.5. You know, it's a little bit more value there. I think Azet is gonna score at least 2 goals. So yeah, give Willem 2-1, then we're there. I'm going for the over 2.5.
All right. That wraps up the Eredivisie. Let's get to Serie A. First game, Udinese hosting Venezia. Udinese wins set at 1.89. Venezia wins set at 4.5. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, both teams kind of in bad shape. No wins in the last 5 games for both teams. Udinese still 10 points clear from Venezia. They're playing at home. They look like the better team. Venezia, of course, on the road, really struggling, no wins. So, like Udinese in this spot, they're not great, so I have a hard time really backing them as one of my favorite bets. But I do like them at home here against such a bad road team. What are you doing?
Yeah, difficult. Yeah, bad road team. They bowled in the last 6 games, 1-1, uh, 2 losses, 3 draws. You know, that's leveled. So I think it will be the same for this game. It's just 10 points difference, but the gap seems bigger if you look at the 12th place for Udinese, 19th for Venezia. Yeah, so yeah, for me, I don't see a clear winner. I'm gonna skip this game. It looks like a draw for me.
All right. Next up, Monza hosting Hellas Verona. Monza wins set at 2.45. Hellas Verona wins set at 3.3. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, this is a game I am skipping. Two of the worst teams here facing off. Obviously, not seeing a clear winner here. Are you doing something?
Yeah, no, also not. Monza, although lean toward Monza, but that's only because they're playing at home and it's just Hellas Verona. But still, it's difficult because Hellas Verona has 7 points more. So yeah, just like you, I'll skip this one also.
All right. Next up, Atalanta hosting Torino. Atalanta wins set at 1.44. Torino wins set at 8. Line for Torino set at 2.5. I like Atalanta in this spot. Line for Torino is set at 2.5. Usually, Atalanta, you can take the over 2.5. In this game, I'm not so sure. They played a road game against Barcelona. Um, were able to score 2 goals, picked up a draw. So kind of a tough turnaround here, coming home, hosting Torino, a team that will defend in this game. So I'm not sure we're seeing the over 2.5, but I do think Atalanta still has enough to pull out a win here at home. What are you doing?
Yeah, I think so. Yes, I think so. Very entertaining game against Barcelona, must be said. Good game. But Torino, the king of draws in this area, that's what delivers them the points. Of course, they got extra points win against Cagliari. Um, it will be difficult scoring for Atalanta. I wouldn't go for the over 2.5, to say the least. I think it will be a 1 goal game, but Atalanta's way.
Yeah, and that's why I think there's good value taking Atalanta here at 1.44. I already said I also don't like the over 2.5, so just picking Atalanta for a straight up win. All right, next up, Bologna hosting Como. Bologna wins set at 1.96. Como wins set at 4.2. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Bologna being at home, I like them, but I don't love them. Also, coming off a road game in midweek against Sporting. Um, Now, Como, they haven't been great on the road. One win on the road against Atalanta. uh, they have picked up some draws and showed some fight in games, but they've also lost in road games against some pretty bad teams like Empoli, Torino, Udinese, a draw against Venezia, Genoa. So Como not great on the road, but a tough spot for Bologna here at home. So just have slight lean towards Bologna. I don't think Como's winning this game, so guess double chance for Bologna, but that's low value. What are you doing?
Yeah, very low value. They, oh, it was an away game again in the Champions League. It was against Sporting. Yeah, so I would say that it would be an easy game for Bologna, but I still count on them to win against Como. They're playing at home, and it's a game that they actually need to win also against the number 14 if they wanna remain in the top 10 till the end of the season.
Yes, I agree there. All right, next up, Juventus hosting Empoli. Juventus wins set at 1.38. Empoli wins set at 9. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Juventus, they've only won one game in the last eight. That was the 2-0 win against AC Milan. Back-to-back losses now, and kind of two losses we kind of saw coming against on the road against Napoli. I really like Benfica in midweek against Juventus, even though they were on the road. Good spot for Juventus. They didn't have to travel, so now they stay at home, host Empoli. Not a great team. Um, Listen, I'm looking at the under 2.5 goals here. Empoli, they score less than a goal a game, and we all know Juventus, they don't allow too many goals, especially against a team like an Empoli. I think they can really shut out Empoli here. I can see a 1-0 or 2-0 win for Juventus. So I like the under 2.5 goals. What are you doing?
Yeah, under 2.5 at 1.84. Yeah, that's already a win there. So I don't see Juventus scoring more than 2 goals and allowing a goal against Empoli. I don't think so. So like you said, Juventus win, low scoring game.
All right. Next up, Fiorentina hosting Genoa. Fiorentina wins set at 1.68. Genoa wins set at 5.6. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Fiorentina bounced back with a good win against Lazio 2-1. They weren't really impressive in that game, only 30% ball possession, expected goals below one, only three shots on goal, while Lazio had like 22 shots total. So ca- let's I want you want would you call it lucky? Maybe not.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm not sure they've really turned things around against a team like Genoa here. Could be a tough game, so I'm not really on Fiorentina this weekend. What are you doing?
No, I'm not on Fiorentina at all. It's I think one of the the worst teams. If you look at the last 6 games in the Serie A, okay, they won one, but still, it's yeah, not good what Fiorentina showing, and that they're still in the top 10. If you look at Italy, the teams you see in the top 10, you ask yourself, how is it possible? Yeah, but Fiorentina is one of them. In bad shape, but still remaining in the top 10. I think it will be a difficult game. I am even leaning towards Genoa.
All right, that's it's some good value for Genoa, so guess you can sprinkle something. I don't see Genoa winning this game, but I guess an upset is possible. Um, and listen, high odds, so you can take a chance if you want. But like I said, not on Fiorentina this weekend. All right. Next up, AC Milan hosting Inter. AC Milan wins set at 4.3. Inter wins set at 1.93. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, AC Milan, they already beat Inter in the cup couple weeks ago. Inter was up 2-0. AC Milan came back, scored 3 goals in regulation to um, ultimately win 3-2. So I think this is a revenge spot for Inter here because they were actually better in that game. And listen, man, AC Milan, like we saw, they also beat Juventus when they hired their new coach. Then the second time around, they played Juventus. It was kind of a really disappointing result, losing 2-0. So I think in the beginning, they really got something from the new coach bump when they beat Inter and Juventus in the cup. But now that's kind of worked out. So I really like Inter here. What are you doing?
Yeah, I agree. I like Inter also, and I even think this game is going to be low scoring game. So the under 2.5, it's tempting also. But I agree. I'm going for an Inter win.
All right. Next up, Roma hosting Napoli. Roma wins set at 3.25. Napoli wins set at 2.48. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Listen, Napoli on the road, high odds, um, kind of tricky here. Don't care. I still will go for Napoli here. Now, Roma, they haven't been bad over the last couple of games. Actually, they've been very good. But still, Napoli's on a different level, right? So I'm not sure Roma has enough firepower to outscore Napoli here. We all know how good Napoli is at defending. Also, more rest for them. Roma played on Thursday, so I'm on Napoli here. What are you doing?
Yeah, I agree. I'm also going for Napoli. It's gonna be a tough game. I was maybe even looking at the over 2.5 also. I think that that's something to look at. And Napoli win. Yes, I'm going for Napoli.
Yes, very, very good value. All right, next up, Cagliari hosting Lazio. Cagliari wins set at 3.8. Lazio wins set at 2.02. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, a Monday game, we usually don't like those games. Lazio played on Thursday, so that would be a reason to stay away from Lazio, but they really didn't have anything to play for in that game, right? Did really feel the strongest 11. Um, this game they will because obviously the league they have something to play for, and Cagliari not a great team. So Lazio, I'm on Lazio here even though it's a Monday game. I really like Lazio. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's a Monday game, but I agree. Lazio, losing against at home against Fiorentina was very disappointing, and I really expected them to win that game. So it's a Monday game, but I'm on Lazio.
Yeah, and you may look like Cagliari. They've won two games out of the last four. A draw against AC Milan. Okay, I guess. But the two games they've won against Lecce and Monza, just two pretty bad teams. So Lazio's on a different level. I'm taking Lazio, obviously here. All right, that wraps up Serie A. Let's get to the Premier League. First game, Nottingham Forest hosting Brighton. Nottingham Forest wins set at 2.55. Brighton wins set at 2.95. The line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, both teams coming off a bad loss. Brighton losing against Everton at home was that's a bad loss, and Forest just getting smashed by Bournemouth 5-0. Also a bad loss. Um, Listen, that doesn't boast confidence for either team, but at least Forest is coming home, so I'm leaning towards Forest. Who do you like here?
Yeah, I agree. I'm also leaning towards Forest, but I think the loss against Bournemouth, was maybe a wake up call for them that they aren't there yet. So if they really want to keep their top three spot. Yeah, this is a game that they need to show that they belong there. So Brighton, uh, the loss against Everton was, almost the same. Also, that kind of disappointing. But Forest is playing at home, so that's why I'm leaning towards them, and I believe they'll win it.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I agree with everything you said. All right. Next up, Everton hosting Leicester City. Everton wins set at 1.87. Leicester City wins set at 4.8. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, we really kind of destroyed Leicester City last weekend. Had zero belief in them, and for some reason they go on the road and beat Tottenham. Tottenham
Yeah,
is just in pretty bad shape at the moment. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
think
Softly said.
yeah, I think that really had more to do with Tottenham than really Leicester City playing a great game. So now back-to-back road games, they go against Everton. Everton, a team that really likes to defend, especially when they're playing at home. So I'm not sure Leicester City they'll have the same luck here, because they'll really have to work to break down Everton's defense. Breaking down Tottenham's defense is much easier. So I like Everton here. What are you doing?
Yeah, I agree. I like Everton also. Leicester City, yeah, on a high, very high at least. Winning against Tottenham in the phase that they are. So Everton is playing at home. So yeah, I would still go for Everton.
All right. Next up, Ipswich Town hosting Southampton. Ipswich wins set at 2.08. Southampton wins set at 3.85. Line for total goal set at 2.5. This man, another game, two of the the worst teams in the league facing off. So will be an ugly game, like the game in Almere City against RKC in the Eredivisie. I'm staying away from this game. Are you doing something?
Yeah, yeah, it was has a lot more point than Southampton. Yeah, but yeah, that just means that Southampton sucks a little bit more. So it's so that's not any you cannot calculate nothing from that. So I would still skip this one. Yes.
All right. Next up, Newcastle hosting Fulham. Newcastle wins set at 1.72. Fulham wins set at 5.1. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, Newcastle shook off the 4-1 loss against Bournemouth by winning 3-1 against Southampton, but it's Southampton. It was on the road, so gotta give them some credit, but still, it's Southampton. Don't really know what to take from that game. But listen, man, at home, Newcastle has been very great. All right, they basically don't lose back-to-back home games. They lost their last home game 4-1 against Bournemouth, so this is a good bounce back spot for Newcastle, even though Fulham can cause trouble on the road. I would still go for Newcastle here. And also, there's also some good value in taking the over 2.5 goals because Newcastle winning 1.72, over 2.5, 1.64. Not a big difference. You could go either way here. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm going the way of Newcastle winning. Um, I agree. Newcastle is the better team. I think Fulham, they played well. The last in the last six games. Okay, the loss against Man United. I think they didn't expect that. Uh, honestly, they really didn't. So but I would still go for a Newcastle win. Yes.
All right, next up, Bournemouth hosting Liverpool. Bournemouth wins set at 4.8. Liverpool wins set at 1.7. Line for total goal set at 3.5. Now, Bournemouth absolutely in great form. 9 goals scored over the last two games, 11 over the last three games, and 16 over the last four games. Okay, there's a 5-1 win against West Brom, so guess we should discount that one a little bit, but still, 9 over the last two games against fairly good opponents, Newcastle and Nottingham Forest. So they're coming into this game hot, playing Liverpool, kind of a tough opponent here. Where are you going here?
Liverpool, they lost against PSV, but they're playing with their, with their B team. So they are well rested, the B team. So Bournemouth, 9 goals, 2 games, winning against Newcastle and Forest, very impressive. But I think it's gonna end here playing against Liverpool now. Like I said, their team is well rested at the moment, so this will be a difficult one for Bournemouth.
Yeah, it obviously will be a difficult game for Bournemouth, but I think then an upset is possible here, right? Because Liverpool, listen, man, they haven't lost too many games this season. In the Premier League, they've only lost once against Nottingham Forest. And listen, man, we all know in the Premier League, like, all right, you can have long streaks and being undefeated, but only losing one game this late into the season it doesn't happen too often, right? So I think they're due for a letdown. I think this could be a game where they drop points, lose a game again. So like we said, like I said, it's the Premier League. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, yeah, so it's still, yeah, but it's only because Bournemouth, won their 2 last games, very impressive. I think that's the problem that they have. Um, and also Liverpool, like I said, their team is well rested, so they will come out with full of energy. So I think that's why I don't believe Bournemouth is gonna have an offset here this weekend.
All right. Obviously, Liverpool's the better team. I'm just not going too heavy on Liverpool this weekend because Bournemouth's in great form, and I can really see an upset where Liverpool they lose in their second game
Uh,
league for the
maybe the over 3.5 then. It's also
yeah, I can really see the over 3.5 because Bournemouth great score for them. Although Liverpool they don't allow too many goals, but Bournemouth really great scoring form, and Liverpool if they want to put away Bournemouth, they would also have to score in at least twice, and maybe they score 3 times. All right,
game to watch this weekend.
yeah, definitely a game to watch. All right, next up, Wolves hosting Aston Villa. Wolves win set at 3.3. Villa win set at 2.25. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Wolves, they benefited from the new coach bump, won 2 games in a row. Also picked up another point against Tottenham, but that has kind of worked out at the moment. I know they played some good opponents in Newcastle, Chelsea, and Arsenal, but they got beaten handily. Still, Aston Villa, good opponent, but on the road this season, not so much. They haven't been great on the road, so I think there's a chance of Wolves can upset Villa here. What are you doing?
Yeah, there's a chance, but yeah, I think that chance is maybe 15% for for that offset. Villa, okay, they played during the week, but they didn't have to travel, and it was a convincing win against Celtic. I think they were 2-0 up, and it became 2-2, and they still won. So they bounced back also. So I don't know. I would still go for a Villa win.
Yeah, I'm going the other way. I would go for a Wolves win. I can really see it upset here because, like I said, Villa. If you look at the road record, they haven't been great this season, and overall they allow a lot of goals. They've scored 34, allowed 35. So allowing more goals than you're scoring, never a good recipe when you're traveling. So I'm on Wolves this weekend. All right. Next up, Man United hosting Crystal Palace. Man United wins set at 2. Crystal Palace wins set at 4.35. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, Obviously, United, they're not really playing impressive football at the moment. Um, there are signs of improvement, I guess. But this man, at home, they've lost a lot of games, but none against teams outside of the top 10. Then Crystal Palace is just outside of the top 10, just below United 13. So United playing at home, they haven't been great, but I'd still give them the advantage here. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'll give them the advantage also. Crystal Palace is on a cloud now. Okay, losing last weekend at home against Brentford. I think that showed that, the team that they actually are. So I would Man United, on a good run, three in a row, and just lost one out of six. So yeah, now at home against Crystal Palace, I think it's a game that will help them to maybe enter the top 10. So I'm for United this weekend.
All right. Next up, Brentford hosting Tottenham. Brentford wins set at 2. Tottenham wins set at 3.35. Line for total goals set at 3.5. Now, I'm taking the over 3.5 goals here. Listen, man, Tottenham defense is just absolutely trash. But they do score goals. Brentford defense, not that much better. So I really like the over 3.5 goals here. Tottenham's in bad shape, man. Really bad shape. They've already allowed 37 goals, but Brentford has allowed 40 goals. So this game could really get loose. I like the over 3.5. What are you doing?
Yeah, and I'm even looking at a Brentford win. You can't count on Tottenham at all, and they played during the week. I think they were lucky it was just, Elfsborg they were playing against. But no, I'm going for the Brentford winning, man. It's Tottenham. No, I don't see them winning this game. Uh,
Brentford, they started the season well at home, but now the last 5 games at home, no wins. There is a 2-2 draw against City and a sprinkle there in between, but besides that, 4 losses. So they're turning into a different team than they were earlier in the season. They were winning all their home games. Now they're kind of on a bad run. I still think Tottenham is in such bad shape that you have to go for Brentford here. But the thing that I like is goals, because like I said, both teams don't really defend. And Tottenham 46 goals scored, Brentford 42. So this could really get loose. I'm rather take the over 3.5 goals. All right. Next up, Arsenal hosting City. Arsenal wins set at 2. City wins set at 4. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Listen, man. City winning 4. Did they fire Guardiola?
no, no,
City winning 4. Listen, man, I can't remember the last time we saw these odds for Manchester City. I
yeah.
know I know Arsenal's a good team. No, they're playing at home. Listen, man, but Guardiola, he has kind of owned and Arteta over the last couple of games. Um, no, last 2 games were draw. Before that, Arsenal were won a game. But if you look at overall over the last 10 meetings, City has really owned Arsenal. Guardiola has owned Arteta. So getting City at 4 is an absolute smash. Give me City. What are you doing?
The last two games they played against each other were draws, and the one before that, Arsenal won actually. So I don't know. I
I'm
would.
gonna I'm gonna interrupt you. The last game, I know it was a draw, 2-2 draw, but listen, man, City 78% ball possession. Okay, I guess City always has more ball possession, but 33 shots, man. Arsenal had only 5 shots, 22% ball possession, and expected goals below point 0.6. So City pretty much dominated that game, and they actually should have won that game. So um, just want to add that.
Yeah, yes, yeah, no, but yeah, still, I don't think City is completely out yet. I will believe it if they actually win this game. Honestly, I'm on Arsenal and maybe the over 2.5, but I'm on Arsenal this weekend.
I'm on City, and listen, man, I'm not also not sure City has really turned things around, but it's notable they've only lost one game in the last eight. It was a bad loss against PSG. They
Mhm.
looked like a completely different team, but only one loss in the last eight. And listen, man, like I said, Guardiola, he kind of has owned Arteta. All right, next up, Monday game, Chelsea hosting West Ham. Chelsea win set at 1.37. West Ham win set at 8.5. Line for total goal set at 3.5. I'm on Chelsea. It's Monday, low value, so not really going heavy, but Chelsea at home should win this game. It's a derby, so also always gotta watch out for those games. But West Ham is in such bad shape, especially when they're going on the road. I really can't see them beating Chelsea here. Are you doing something?
Yeah, I agree. West Ham in bad shape, and also Chelsea not much value, 1.38, and it's a Monday game, so no, I'm just gonna leave this one alone.
All right. That wraps up the Premier League. Let's get to La Liga. First game, Getafe hosting Sevilla. Getafe wins set at 2.55. Sevilla wins set at 3.35. Line for total goals set at 1.5. And listen, man, I guess 1.5 is correct. You could even set it at zero point 0.5. I'm not sure I'm taking the over at zero point 0.5. Not sure there will be goals in this game. I know Getafe undefeated in the last five, but listen, man, two wins came in the Copa del Rey. The other two wins against Las Palmas, and I guess a good win against Sociedad. But overall, 17 goals scored, 17 allowed. Playing at home, they will defend. And although Sevilla has allowed 30 goals, also a team that kind of has a defensive approach. So that's why the line is sitting at 1.5. I couldn't agree more. I really can see goals being scored in this game. Are you doing something?
Yeah, and if the draw is on the 2.95, then then that also says a lot. So I believe it will be so. So I'm skipping this one.
All right. Next up, Villarreal hosting Valladolid. Villarreal win set at 1.22. Valladolid win set at 13. Line for Zorgo set at 3.5. Now, Villarreal, they're in the top five, but man, sometimes when you see them play, it's hard to believe, and they're in the top five. But Valladolid, obviously, pretty bad team, last in the league for obvious reasons. If you look at them play, and on the road, they've won one game against Alaves, and besides that win, not even one draw, just straight up L's. So obviously they're not winning this game, but low value backing Villarreal. Are you doing something?
Yeah, low value backing Villarreal. Yeah, I agree, and I think it's it should be a easy win for Villarreal this weekend. So you can't count on Valladolid to maybe have an offset. Don't think so. So Villarreal win, but mm, not doing anything this game.
All right, neither am I. Next up, Atletico Madrid hosting Mallorca. Atletico Madrid wins set at 1.41. Mallorca wins set at 10. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Atletico, they shook off their loss against uh, Leganes, the 1-0 loss on the road. They won against Leverkusen and won against Salzburg. In the league, only one game after the Leganes loss, a draw against Villarreal. So I guess it's time for them to win the league game again. And what better way to host a team that has not scored in four straight games? Mallorca, they really have a tough time finding the net here. So good value backing Atletico Madrid here at 1.41. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's. I think it will be a fifth game for Mallorca without without a goal scored. So I'm staying away from the over 2.5, and Atletico Madrid. Not much value there also. 1.4, yeah, it's a little bit too low. So I'm not doing anything this game.
Well, you could take the 1.4 and parlay it with Real Madrid 1.3. Espanyol hosting Real Madrid. Espanyol wins set at 10.5. Real Madrid wins set at 1.3. Line for total goal set at 2.5. So if you take Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid, the two Madrid teams, that gives you some good value because listen, man, Espanyol, obviously they're playing at home, but still they're not beating Real Madrid. No way, no how. Are you doing something?
No, actually, I'm not. Espanyol, yeah, number 18. Maybe you can just look at the goals here. Over 2.5. I would rather go for the over 2.5. You have a little bit more value there than just to win for Real Madrid. I would go for the over 2.5.
Well, I would go for, like I said, I'm parlaying in Real Madrid with Atletico Madrid. That's a good value, but straight up in this game, I'd rather play Real Madrid's total goals over 2.5. That is sitting at 2.08. Real Madrid, if you look at the last five games they've played, they've scored at least three goals every time. And listen, man, the only time they failed to score more than twice in the last seven games was against Barcelona when they lost 5-2. I know against Celta also a 2-2 draw actually that ended up in a 5-2, but the fact that they scored three goals in extra time tells you something about their offensive power. And if you look at the last four games, like I said, besides the Celta game, of course, you can see at least three goals scored in each game. 5-1 against Salzburg, 4-1 against Las Palmas. So they could easily score three goals here against Espanyol. So taking Real Madrid over 2.5, it's a good bet here.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Next up, Barcelona hosting Alaves. Barcelona wins set at 1.19. Alaves wins set at 16. Line for total goal set at 3.5. Now, Barcelona, a draw against Atalanta. You already touched on it. Was a very entertaining game. Last weekend, um, this man, they hosted Valencia, and I said, this man, the value for Valencia was just so good. You just had to sprinkle something on Valencia. But I admit it could get ugly fast, right? If Barcelona had scored early, it could get ugly fast, and god damn, it was ugly.
Yeah.
7-1. Now, I don't think they're scoring seven goals here against Alaves, because although Alaves isn't that much better than Valencia, they will have a very defensive approach here. So obviously, I think Barcelona will win this game, but not really on them this weekend. Are you doing something?
Not 7 goals, but I think they will reach the 3.5. So I would go for the over 3.5.
Now, obviously, Barcelona, they've shown they really have an firepower, so they can get loose when they want. If you look at the last five games, three out of those games they've scored at least five goals. Now, if you even further, last six games, four out of the last and six they've scored at least five goals. And if you go back to the last eight, now then it's six out of the last eight where they've scored at least four. So they've shown that they can score goals. So over 3.5, not a bad bet. Um, I guess you can look at Barcelona's total goals over 2.5. That's sitting at 1.66. And this man over 3.5 is sitting at 1.87. So I would rather play Barcelona's total goals over 2.5 because the value isn't that much lower. So Barcelona just needs to score three times. You don't need them to crack four goals.
That's possible.
All right. Next up, Valencia hosting Celta. Valencia wins set at 2.43. Celta wins set at 3.3. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Kind of already touched on it. Valencia just got embarrassed by Barcelona. Even though it's Barcelona, it's a complete embarrassment, allowing seven goals. So I don't know how many Calvins they have heading into this game, and I also don't understand why they're favorite. They're okay. They're 1 point above Valladolid right now, but You can't really tell which team's better at the moment. Celta is, at least looks like a respectable team. So Celta should actually be favored in this game. I'm taking Celta. What are you doing?
Yeah, they should be, but I think Valencia, the embarrassment they had last weekend against Barcelona, they can't afford to lose this game. So it's a lean towards Valencia, but that's only because what I just said. They can't just lose this game. Also, they have to towards the fans. They have to prove something. So um, I think I'm leaning towards Valencia. Yeah.
Well, they have to prove something. I don't think they're good enough to prove anything. So that's why I'm on Celta. Like I said, Celta at least looks like a respectable team, while Valencia just looks like one of the worst teams, and they are one of the worst teams in the league. All right, next up, Osasuna hosting Sociedad. Osasuna wins at 3.15. Um, Sociedad win set at 2.6, time for total goals set at 1.5. I also agree here with the line 1.5. Sociedad, a team that then obviously doesn't score a lot. 17 goals scored in 21 games, also 17 allowed. Osasuna, they score a little bit more, also allow a little bit more. But Osasuna being at home, I really like them. Um, I think this will be a one goal game either way. So guess you could take the under and a 1.5 or maybe under 2.5. But I'm gonna play Osasuna straight up. Small dogs, but still an upset. Osasuna at home. I'm gonna take Osasuna Sociedad on the road. This man, if you they have trouble scoring overall, like I said, 17 goals only scored, so that doesn't travel well. Give me Osasuna. What are you doing?
Yeah, I agree. I would also go for Osasuna here. And I also see that very very disappointing for me this season. I expected a little bit more, but yeah, I would also go for Osasuna win.
Yeah, and Osasuna, they've only lost two games on the road this season against Betis and Bilbao. In both games, they were able to score. Betis scored twice. Both games they lost 2-1. I'm not sure Sociedad has enough to score two goals here on the road against Osasuna. So, like I said, obviously, I think it will be a low scoring game and Osasuna win for me. All right. Next up, Betis hosting Bilbao. Betis wins set at 3.15. Bilbao wins set at 2.5. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, last week I stayed away from Bilbao against Leganes because, like I said, they had played a road game against Besiktas. So even though Leganes is a bad team, I didn't really like them in that spot at home. Now they bounce back, a good win against Victoria Pilsen, going against Betis here. A Betis team that I know they won the last game against Mallorca, but it's a Mallorca team that's in really bad shape. Other than that, Betis had lost three straight games, even a loss against Valladolid, which is just absolutely bad. Bilbao's a good team. Give me Bilbao here. I do like them here. What are you doing?
Yeah, no, maybe if they didn't play during the week, I know they didn't travel, but but still, I think it's gonna be a difficult game. This one, I even think it will, can end up in the draw. That's what it looks like for me. But I'm not totally on Atletico Bilbao this weekend. I'm even maybe leaning towards Betis, but that's only because Bilbao played during the week and it's an away game, so difficult.
All right. Next up, Girona hosting Las Palmas. Girona wins set at 1.63. Las Palmas wins set at 5.4. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Another Monday game, and this one's it's a pretty boring game, especially this one being played on a Monday. I'm not really looking to do anything in this game. Girona sitting on four straight losses. Las Palmas also winless in four. A draw in the last game. Besides that, three straight losses. So not sure which team's worse here. Not really doing anything. Or are you doing something?
Yeah, but it's amazing. Girona still in the top 10 in the eighth place. We have how is it possible? But yes, but there they are, and just what is it, 5 points difference from Las Palmas.
Yeah,
So
not a big gap.
yeah. So it's not a big gap. And like you said, Girona losing 4 in a row. I don't think it will be 5, but I'm not gonna be part of that. So I'm gonna skip this one also.
All right. Now that wraps up La Liga, and that wraps up all picks and leans for this weekend. Obviously, quick recap for best bets. I like Dortmund. I like Frankfurt Wolfsburg over 2.5 goals. PSV winning, like we earlier said, low value, but 1.48 for PSV is just absolutely good. And I also like what Sergio said, just spice things up. PSV wins and both teams to score. I like AZ to win. I like Inter to win. I like Everton to win, and I like Manchester United to win. What do you have, Sergio?
Yeah, this weekend I'm going for Utrecht, Dortmund, Freiburg, AZ over 2.5, Napoli, Lazio, United, and Brentford.
All right. Now, like we always say, guys, bet smart, bet with your head, set your limits, and stay within your means. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, good weekend, everybody.